Well, hi folks. Welcome to Wednesday's Coffee and Colossians. The sun's just going down, so hopefully I get this done before it does go down. You know, I remember an old elder on the island of Lewis asking, "Have you grown in grace?" And it's a phrase I hadn't heard before, and I wasn't too sure about what it meant. And I think about this. I'm going to ask you a question. I was thinking about that because we're in Colossians 1:10, and the phrase, I'm going to ask you, have you grown in the knowledge of God? And think about that. Do you know God better now than you did a year ago or 10 years ago? See, Paul and Timothy are praying that they would be filled with wisdom and understanding that the Spirit gives. And they've given the reasons: a life worthy of the Lord, bearing fruit in every good work. And now this third one, growing in the knowledge of God. We need to know God's will. We need to know who God is. We need to know God's revelation so we can grow in knowledge of God. In chapter 1, verse 9, we continually ask God to fill you with the knowledge of His will. It's the same word that's being used. But knowledge of God is much more than just knowing what God wants us to do. It's knowing who God is. It's knowing what He is like. It includes knowledge of God's grace. Chapter 1, verse 6 says the same thing. It includes, in terms of the Jewish understanding of God at the time, it includes experience of God's dealings. You look at the Psalms or Isaiah or Samuel, and this is how God revealed Himself and how He's acted with His people. It is something that's very rich. Ephesians 1, verses 17 to 23, which I won't read, kind of elaborates on that, this just understanding the character and works and grace of God. You know, I do like reading, and I like reading biographies. I like reading historical biographies especially. And I feel as I read, I'm getting to know I'm getting to know the person, getting to know them a lot better. I feel when I go into an art gallery and look at the paintings, I'm getting to see something of the artist. And I feel that you could spend all your life studying just one person, but God, growing in the knowledge of God, you never make it, do you? You're never there. You can say you know God to some degree, but we know so little, and there's so much that we can grow in. It's very interesting. For Paul, in Romans 1:21, the failure to know and acknowledge God is at the root of all human sin. And I would want to suggest that the failure of all our problems as Christians is because we don't know God well enough. And Christ came to reveal God to us. And I find this connection, because we saw, bearing fruit in every good work, I find this wonderful connection between what I would call practical outworking and divine or experience of God. The more we know God, the more we will want to serve and help others. And He's not as though He's a God who's hiding away from us. He's a God who wants to reveal Himself to us. For me, that's just an amazing, amazing, amazing thought. And something to hold on to. I pray that I would know God better. I want to know Him better. I pray for you that you would know Him better, that through the understanding and the grace that the Spirit gives, that you would know Him better. And I think that's enough for today. We shall, as the sun goes down, we shall, God willing, see you tomorrow. Bye.